So, Sanjana, I think you've very clearly given your priority. Your vote is for notes first, test later, and not that test first and notes later. That's very powerful insight. But if I may add to that, many students also come with this problem that, sir, you've told us to make notes, and we are doing it the way you told us to. But then it's taking a lot of time. We feel like we are not covering much in a day. When we could have covered many other topics, we feel the preparation is being slowed down. So they come with these challenges or these complaints. What would be your take? So how should a student approach these challenges?
It's true, sir. I agree with aspirants. Note making does take time. But I would compare it with how one learns cycle. So for the first time when you're sitting on a cycle, you will take time to pick up how to go about cycling. But then after a week or two, when you understand the nuances, you take less time to go forward. And then whenever you sit on a cycle, it's not like you're also learning how to go about cycling. So note making is also same in my view. That's because when you start making note for one paper, that will take time. But after that, you will understand the structure of how to make notes. Then it will only be your efficiency that will count, that will matter. How efficiently you can pick up content from one material, examples from others, case studies from others, stats from reports, and then combine all of it into your notes. So have patience. So it will take time. So all the time that it takes is for first paper. Let's say you start with GS2. Making notes for GS2 might take time for you. But then when you repeat it for GS1 and GS3, you can do it in a smooth manner. So learn to make notes. Later you can repeat it in a more efficient manner. And coming to another issue about note making, we have to understand the benefit. Though it takes lot of time now, after prelims you will understand that the time that you take to complete a paper in revision will drastically reduce. Let's take my case. This year, sir, 22 marks I have improved 22 marks in only one paper in mains. All scores were similar on the same lines. That paper was GS1. I improved 22 marks in GS1. So, in order to improve so many marks, I put lot of effort, time in preparing for GS1, revising my material, going through proper scripts repeatedly. So I did not have time to prepare for other papers. But because I had good notes and I did reasonably well last year when I got 207, I just revised my notes for 10 days for GS2 and GS3, and that is the only time that I could give for GS2 and GS3. But my marks are same. I got around 110 in GS2 and 98 in GS3. So these scores signify...
I think 118.
Sorry, is it 118?
118, yes. GS2, 118.
Okay. Pardon me, I got a bit confused. Yes, so I think the beauty of notes is the repeatability of scores or repeatability of performance. So that is what I gained from my notes. So I would recommend all of you to be in the process, to be involved in the process. Though it takes a lot of time initially, over time you will get acclimatized with the process and you yourself will sail through.
Very good. I think that answers most inhibitions that aspirants have. The key takeaway, I think, is that even if the first time you write notes, the first 1.5 month, or for the first paper that you are trying to make notes, you will be a little slow and it will sink in a lot of time. It will consume a lot of your time. But once the technique is mastered, I think the other papers and compiling notes for other papers becomes an easy task. And your notes for both GS2, GS1, other papers are reflecting that spirit. And the other important point, like you very well said, is that between prelims and mains, when time is short and the pressure is just enormous, having good notes gives a certain amount of repeatability for your performance, because it is one thing to get a rank, but another thing to improve a rank. Many students come to me who are in services and they are seeking betterment, but very few of them succeed in doing it. That is because For many who have got rank once, they have not done the required background work. They've just done something that clicked at one time. So repeating it is very difficult.
Yes.
But having notes ensures that even if you get marks once, you can also get them once again.
That's it.
And in your case, having that good notes also gave you legroom or space to focus on weak areas.
Yes.
So in your case, GS1 was a weak area and you had to give it more time. And you only know that it is a weak area after the marks come, and then there is hardly any time to work on it.
That's right.
So there's hardly any time. So now you could, between those prelims and mains, when time is short, you could give qualitative focus. You could focus on GS1 exclusively because you are sure in other papers you
I
can
will
repeat your
repeat it.
performance.
Yes.
And I think for GS2 you had hardly 12 days.
Yes.
And with 12 days you still pulled off a high score. That is, I think you in GS2 and 3 you got one of the highest scores, 198 in GS3 and 118 in GS2.
Yes, sir.
These are very good scores and you had achieved them. Not just the scores are good. The scores had come also in a very limited amount of preparation. That is, I think, the most important part. And that came with having patience. So no difficult thing comes easy. And note making is no exception. That, I think, is the key takeaway.